Hello and welcome to Elden Ring. This is my name's Chris, and this is something I just fancied recording as a bit of a difference from the Subnautica series that's going on at the moment. And nobody's playing Elden Ring at the moment; it's not that popular a game. I just thought I'd jump on the bandwagon and do a bit of a recording for it and do the beginning. Now, this isn't blind. I have played some of it. If I go to load, you'll see my main character is 28 hours in, which I know in the grand scheme of things is next to nothing, but I thought I'd start a fresh character for this, so it's not blind, but I don't know it all. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit because my main character is an astrologer, so I've done the mage build, but I actually kind of fancied trying to do a confessor build, because what I want to do is a strength faith build, which this one seems like it lends itself to. So I get to mix it up. I don't just stand at the back and throw spells. I actually get to do some spells and then do some sword and shield work. So let's just go with a go-to name. I'm not going to worry about the appearance because it's going to be covered in the armor. So let's get going.
The fallen leaves tell a story. The great Elden Ring was shattered. In our home, across the fog, the lands between. Now, Queen Marika the Eternal is nowhere to be found. And in the night of the Black Knives, Godwyn the Golden was first to perish. Soon, Marika's offspring, demigods all, claimed the shards of the Elden Ring. The mad taint of their newfound strength triggered the shattering. A war from which no lord arose. A war leading to abandonment by the greater will. Oh, rise now, ye tarnished, ye dead who yet live. The call of long-lost grace speaks to us all. Horalu, chieftain of the Badlands, the ever-brilliant Gold Mask. Fear, the deathbed companion. The loathsome Dung-Eater. And Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-knowing. And one other, whom grace would again bless. A tarnished of no renown. Cross the fog to the lands between. To stand before the Elden Ring. And become the Elden Lord.
So there we go, and we're in. I stayed a bit quiet there so you guys could sort of see the opening cutscene and everything, and I will be honest, I still have no idea what half of the lore is. So we get our poisoned finger, which lets us write messages, and you'll see on the ground we've got all of these red bits, which are bloodstains. If we tap them, we can see how people have died. He looked like he took himself out. And any white ones, like this, are messages that other people have left. So for example, this guy is asking if we're ready. Which, you know, no idea. Now. So, sword, we've got a shield, there's our magic bit, and we've got an urgent heal. Assassin's Approach, what does that do? So this way we can have a look at our equipment. But it's going to be under inventory because we can't change our spells at the moment. You can just see what we've got equipped. Silencer's Footsteps, well that's going to be no use at all in a fight, so we're definitely going to want that urgent heal. And this is it. So, I've not played this class before, so I've not had access to heals, which is interesting for me. Apologies, something keeps popping in and out of my PC, which is causing this to lag. Okay, so we've got some more messages here. Why is it always death? Elden Ring ahead. Boss ahead. So these messages that players leave do, sometimes they're really helpful, sometimes they are complete lies and fabrications. But you can rate them, and if your message gets rated by another player, then it gives you a small buff while playing the game. So here is our first boss. And as you can see, I'm awful at dodging, so apparently I have access to heals. Oh, that takes a while. Okay, yeah. So I didn't even land a hit before I got taken out. Now, this is one of the things that I found out about this game afterwards. You're supposed to lose to that one. You can beat it. You're actually meant to lose to it, so that's kind of okay. I'm also a little bit curious because they apparently patched this recently to stop you missing the tutorial. So I'm curious to see how they've made it less missable. And there we are, apparently rather dead.
Don't worry, Torrent. Fortune is on his side. We found him here, after all. One of his kind is sure to seek the Elden Ring. Even if it does violate the Golden Order.
And like I say, there's a lot of this lore I still have no idea what it's about. Like, I vaguely get what the Elden Ring is. Rough idea who the Golden Order are, but I still don't get how it all interconnects. And the other thing I don't quite get with it, and they mentioned it in the opening cutscene, is that apparently we're already dead but keep getting back up. Which, from what I understand and have looked at, it's kind of a running theme for Souls-based games, which this is the continuation of, but I've still not had it properly explained where I'm going through. Okay, so we've now got our Flasks of Crimson and Cerulean Tears, which are our health and mana regen. Okay, Cave of Knowledge lies below. There we go. That makes it significantly less missable. It's telling you about going through it. Now, we are going to go through that. Mostly so, A, I can practice, and B, I can, get just a few more roots, which help me level up. So, this thing here is a Site of Grace, as it's mentioning there. So this is where we get to rest and patch up. But we're fully healed at the moment, so I'm not going to worry about doing that. So we can push forwards. And here we have our first enemy. Sorceries and incantations, okay, but the incantations we have are no good on that. So guarding, I like guarding. So guarding, we can put our shield up like that. So, and make it counter strike with a heavy attack, which on a controller is R2, and if you time it right, it does the counter attack. Now, you can parry, which is that bit there, and if you time that, you actually stagger them. I've not managed to do that as yet. When I was practicing trying to do it, I kept getting myself rather killed. Okay, right, so here we've got another one. Now, this guy here. Let's block, so we can just keep hammering through. So what that was telling us to do there is you can wield your sword with two hands, and then everything's a little bit harder, but I have to admit I like having a shield when I've got access to one. So this is about changing who we're targeting. And then, apologies for the stutter, something keeps connecting and disconnecting my USB, which is causing the game to stutter. Right, okay. This is good shit. It seems like it's blocking all of it. Let's just have a look at that. So, if we have a look at our equipment, our shield specifically, so you can see in the middle, can I use the mouse at the same time? I can. So you can see here it says physical 100% damage guard negation, which means if we block, it actually blocks everything from a physical point of view. So there's no bleed damage that sneaks over. Okay, here's where it tells us about skills. Let's try a parry. Come on. Yeah, messed that up. Let's try again. That one. Second time round. So you can see it staggered him and it let me just get a free hit straight at him. Okay, and then we get crouching. We can sneak up behind people, but this I've found less than useful. Because you can normally just charge a heavy attack and do just as much damage from there. Now, I want to practice my parry. Badly. Come on. Okay. Let's continue to push ahead. We've got another guy up here. What you can see, so that ghost figure is another character, and it shows you the actions that they were doing. So they were hitting him with a bow. Here we go, talking about stance breaking. So we can jump attack. I still want to try and get this parry down. just a block. There we go. Okay. We can get there. Right. So, whenever you see one of these statues, these stakes of Marika, it just popped up, and I'll paraphrase that for you. Effectively, it means if you die, you come back there instead of the last site of grace you visited. And this gold door means there's a boss the other side. Here we have our soldier of Godric. Okay. That up. Okay, let's have a drink. Health potion used. Oh, got that very wrong. Okay, so apparently I need to practice more with the parrying. Okay, but that should be the tutorial area finished, because it brings us back up the top of this hole, and for doing that we get a pose, which, from what I understand, there are puzzles that you need to use these poses for, but I've not actually figured any of them out myself yet. But now we can just keep pushing forwards. Now, one of the other bits from what I understand with the starting classes, they are all kind of not irrelevant, but they just change where your stats and equipment start, but you can actually force any starting class into anything else. I am actually going to rest there to get my flasks back. Doing that, I've also realised I messed up in the character creation, because there was a buff you can pick up during character creation and I didn't grab it. Because you'll notice we've only got 4 flasks, but you can actually start the game with 5 if you choose to take a particular item as part of character creation, which there's no two ways around it. I forgot. Okay. So here is where we start our open world, and we're let out from the outside. And this is it. So here we have Limgrave, we've got another side of grace here. There's no point resting because we just have. Now, bit there it mentions guidance of grace. You can kind of see this arc coming out of the top of the site of grace. That's telling us where our sort of mini objective is and where we want to go next. We have, thank you, I'll talk about the map in a minute. This chap here, who is someone to talk to.
Tarnished, are we? Come to the lands between for the Elden Ring? Of course you have. No shame in it. Unfortunately for you, however, you are maidenless. Without guidance, without the strength of runes, and without an invitation to the Round Table Hold, you are fated, it seems, to die in obscurity.
And now, you want to talk to people more than once, because they seem to have set something up in Elden Ring where you need to talk to everyone 3 or 4 times to hear everything they say.
Luckily for you, however, there is one shining ray of hope for even the maidenless. Me. Vare. Take care to listen. Are you familiar with grace? The golden light that gives life to you tarnished. You may also behold its golden rays, pointing in a particular direction at times. That is the guidance of grace, the path that a tarnished must travel. Indeed. Grace's guidance holds the answers. It will lead you tarnished to the path you are meant to follow, even if it leads you to your grave. Grace's guidance will reveal the path forward, most certainly. To Castle Stormvale, over on the cliff, the home of the decrepit demigod, Godric the Grafted. It's time you set off, I should think, to Castle Stormvale on the cliff, where Grace would guide you. If you seek the Elden Ring, maidenless as you are. It's time you to castle if you...
Now we've got the repeated text. Now, you'll notice there's a guy down there on the horse. We are not going near him. So he is actually a lesson for new players. Because he will... Well, I'm going to say a lesson for new players. He's a lesson for newer players like me. Because he will absolutely murder me straight out of the gates, because there's no two ways around it. I'm not skilled enough at this game. Now, I know there are some guys out there that are, and I'm sure I saw someone that's actually completed this at level 1, so they've never actually got any stronger. They've done the whole game with it, and kudos to that chap, but I am not that good. But our first stop is normally here, because this is where the Grace was pointing us, at the Church of Ella, where we've got another fast track, another site of Grace. And now we'll talk about the map now. I've got that. Oh, and that covers it off there, because you can fast travel. So if I open the map up, you can see at the moment we've got all the sites of Grace we started at. You can see the White Mask of Are there, the guy we were just talking to, and you can see the church we're at now. And this is all we have off the map. Now, those of you that have played Elden Ring a bit more will know where that's going, but suffice to say, the map is bigger than this. It's just we don't know how much bigger yet. So, we have this chap over here.
You're tarnished. I can see it. But I can also see that you're not after my throat. Then why not purchase a little something? I am Kale, purveyor of fine goods.
Okay, so we
I
can
am of a nomadic people, selling wares as I travel. The land has been tainted by madness since the shattering of the Elden Ring. It's only tarnished like yourself, who keep things from drying up entirely. Let's say you're a very welcome customer.
Okay, we can ask a recommendation, but what he will recommend for us is this crafting kit, which I am going to pick up. Now, with... do I want the torch? No, I don't want the torch. So with Elden Ring, everything is bought for with rings that you get by...
Nice to do business.
Basically, go away, go away. That you get by basically killing bad guys, or bosses, or people around you. That includes you leveling up. It's all using this singular currency that if you die, you drop it at the point or the site that you died on. If you manage to make it back to that site, then you can pick them all up, no harm, no foul. If you don't, if you die before you manage to pick them up again, that's it, they're gone for good, lost forever. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Does make you play quite cautiously, particularly if you're going back to get something. But again, with Elden Ring, and from what I understand the other Souls games, because this is the first type one I've played, the game doesn't expect you to just do stand-up fights. You will lose if you try and do stand-up fights against things, because you're not meant to be this all-powerful, super strong character that is capable of just taking hit after hit after hit, like you see in sort of other games, and where you're effectively this godlike character. Miss. Go away. Okay. So, really not got parrying down yet. Yeah, I'm better at the counter-attacks than I am at the parrying. But apparently it's, from what I understand, really useful skill to learn the parry, because you can block a multitude of attacks you can't normally. Now, I'm just clearing these guys out in the woods, mostly because I want rooms. So here we have a site of Marika, and here is our first little kind of area to clear. We've got a little base camp here with all these guys in it. Now, this is going to be a challenge for me. Oh, shield guy, lovely. Come on then. Now the green bar is my stamina bar, and you'll notice as I swing my sword, well, it's not going to do it here because I'm not in combat, but normally as you swing you use up your stamina, and that's used up when you roll and you run, and it's any action that is just walking uses your stamina. So you need to keep an eye on that as you're playing, because if you run out of stamina you can't swing, you can't dodge, you just get in trouble with it. So we've got a Site of Grace here. I am actually going to rest because I want some health and that flask back.
Greetings, traveller from beyond the fog. I am Melina. I offer you an accord. Have you heard of the Finger Maidens? They serve the two fingers, offering guidance and aid to the tarnished. But you, I am afraid, are maidenless. I can play the role of maiden, turning runes into strength to aid you in your search for the Elden Ring. You need only take me with you to the foot of the Erd Tree.
So we can refuse, but we're going to accept on this. And a general rule of thumb I've been hearing, where I've been looking into various bits about Souls games, is broadly speaking, you want to say yes to almost everything because it unlocks more content.
Then it's settled. Summon me by grace to turn runes into strength. Ah, another matter. I bequeath to you this ring. Use it to traverse great distances. It will summon a spectral steed named Torrent. Torrent has chosen you. Treat him with respect.
Okay, so we have access to Torrent now.
Shall
Do
I
we
turn
have
your runes
enough to level up?
strength? Let my hand rest upon you.
I don't know
For
if
but
we
a
will.
moment. Share them with me.
No, we don't. So
Your
you'll
thoughts,
notice up here our
your
level
ambitions.
is 10.
The principles you would follow.
So picking the starting class we did, we start at level 10, which changes how many runes we need to get to the next level. All of the starting classes start at a level above 1, other than, I can't remember what it's called, but it was basically, you might have spotted it in the character creation, the naked character that was only wearing a loincloth. They start at level 1 and they only have a club. They've got no armor, no equipment, nothing going for them. But yeah, so we can't level up. We can adjust our flasks. Can we try that? No, that's the keepsake I didn't take at the beginning. Don't have any of those yet. And this is where we can change how many. We have 4 flasks to play with, and it's up to us how we want to split them up. We've got next to no magic at the moment, so 1 flask should be fine for the magic. Spell. Only got the 2, and they're both memorised, so there's nothing there. So that's kind of this done. Okay. And we can Go away. So we can set Torrent up. Now, to the right here, we've got our pouch, and this is where we've kind of got quick slots. Never use that Memory of Grace, because that costs you rooms to use. But what I will put there, or do I? No, I'm going to put it here, so it's in line with how I've got it on my other character. So I'm going to put the Spectral Steed Whistle there. What that means is, if I hold A and then press down, there's our horse, which has goat horns. I'm not quite sure why it has goat horns, but this is our mount, which we can run around, swing swords with, but that is kind of where I'm going to leave it here. I'm not going to get too much deeper at the moment, but as you can imagine, there's a lot you can do here. There's a massive world to explore, and yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please consider a like or a comment below. Feel free to do a subscription, and if you have particularly got on with this or any of my other content, feel free to turn the bell icon on so you're notified when anything else comes up. If this does do particularly well, I will then, like I say, probably come back and do another episode or two. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me, and have a good evening.